This is why I homeschool. So how I started was in the elementary ages of my oldest. She was getting bored in school and I felt like learning can't be boring. And so I decided we're gonna homeschool and see if I can make it a little bit more fun, because since she was getting bored, she was talking in class and getting in trouble. So I was concerned about that. So I luckily got tickets to a homeschool convention. I got to learn about that, and I decided to try homeschooling because she was quite gifted, and so I knew that if I did anything wrong, she wouldn't get behind. We'd be okay. At least she'd be right at her level. So we started homeschooling, and my why has grown from there. So now why I homeschool is because first, we can focus on interests. We can focus on really what they want to do. Second is we can put God first. That's number one that I want to do in our family. And so we can start every subject with a prayer. And finally is that we can go at their speed. I have some that are ahead in grade level and some that really struggle from learning disabilities, and I can go at their pace. And because of that, that's why I homeschool, so I can help them each step and make learning fun no matter what stage that they're at. This is when I homeschool. So we kind of do a natural day rhythm. So we start homeschooling when we wake up. So when we wake up is between around 8 and 9. We start with breakfast, family prayer, and then this year I actually start with a social skills lesson so that we can learn on how to not fight, emotional resilience, regulation as a family. The other thing I use for when we homeschool is I have my planner. So I do bullet journaling, kind of with putting in on hours. So I love, it's very messy, but this, like if I can write my brain down, this is what works best for me. So usually the day before is I'll make sure what we need to get done that day. If we have other things like piano lessons or dance, they're written down. And then I'll put in the other things as they fit. So we homeschool Monday through Thursday. And then Friday is our fun Friday that we go do some fun things. We do math, writing, and reading Monday through Thursday. Piano practice is every day. We have science we do every other day, and history we do every other day. So we switch those two. And I go ahead and I fit it into my little schedule. We usually get done around 2, but sometimes if it doesn't get done in the morning, then we put it at the end. This is how I make homeschool work for our family. So one that I love about homeschool is you can homeschool completely free. And the way is the library. I love going to the library. There's so many fabulous resources. And if you talk to librarians, they are so willing to help you. The other way I financially homeschool is I did find a program later on in my homeschool years that is state funded where I can get some reimbursements for school materials. So that helps a ton financially. So I can really get whatever will work best for my child. The other way we homeschool is Power Hour. Power Hour is a 1 hour of the day where we go and as a family quickly clean up the house. And it's amazing what you can do in 1 hour when you have 5 kids, 1 adult, all working together. So it is fabulous. We usually do that between lunch and dinner. The other way we homeschool to get our exercise in is luckily we live in an area where everything is pretty close. So we bike. We try to bike as much as we can instead of driving. It saves us gas and it gets our bodies moving. And finally, how I homeschool is, days can be filled with interruptions. And the main thing I want to teach my children is that, Jesus Christ, I want us to be like Jesus Christ. And he had interruptions in his day. But he took the time with compassion to help those around us. And so if there is something that happens where we need to go out on an errand of the Lord with compassion, then we'll just move our schedule to the evening. And that's the beauty of homeschool. is that we can go out on these compassionate interruptions and be like our Savior. Okay, this is where we homeschool. This is my bedroom, and I do a lot of one-on-one time here. This is, of course, nothing that I planned, but it works really well. I can close my door, we can cuddle on the bed or my chair and do our one-on-one time. And then we have other parts of the room. This is also my bookshelves that have my homeschool stuff right in the bedroom. Easy grab, easy put away. Okay, the other place in the house we homeschool at is my kitchen table, because food and school just seem to go together. And when they're eating, we can do a lot of group things together. So I use my kitchen table a lot. We gather the kids together. They usually have their snack, breakfast, lunch, whatever we're doing, and we can do our group lessons here. Also in here, I have my computer. It's in an open area so that I just like having where I can watch or help them as they need to. And we use some of our curriculum on the computer. Downstairs, I have some more bookshelves, so sometimes we do reading downstairs. This is what we use to homeschool, which isn't even everything because life is homeschooling. So I'm going to start with my oldest and work down. I have 5 children. My oldest is 13. So for all my kids for math, I use Math-U-See. It works for us. It's been a great curriculum. What I love is that you master the concept before you move on. That's how they worked it out, and it's great. So we do Math-U-See. Then I wanted a little bit better curriculum for science, or older curriculum for science for my 13-year-old. So we use Science Shepherd. Comes with a little video, and then she has a little lesson she does, and then a workbook to make sure she masters the concept. So I love that. And then she does Good and the Beautiful for her language arts. For my 11-year-old, my 11-year-old struggles with dyslexia. So it's a completely different boat. But the beauty of homeschool is we can adjust. So I do all about reading for him. It has been fabulous for him in building that confidence. He does Math-U-See as well. And then for his writing, for someone with dyslexia, writing can be extremely overwhelming. So for him, he has a question a day he writes. He answers that one question. Then he doesn't feel so overwhelmed because we block out the rest, and it's that one question, and it keeps him consistent where he's writing every day without being overwhelmed. So we do that for writing. For my 9-year-old, he does the Good and the Beautiful, does really well with it. Math-U-See, he's also in this Gamma book. And then what I love about homeschooling is you can focus on what they are really interested in. And my 9-year-old was really interested in comic books, and he wanted to draw. And so at the beginning of the school year, if there's something they really want to learn, we find something that can help him on that journey. So these weren't very much. I got it for him. He feels like he's an artist and an author, and it's just worked wonderful. So he gets to do that during the day as well. For my 6-year-old, I do the reading lesson, teach your child to read in 20 lessons. And then I also do this little phonics storybook. It has a little story we read together. He reads to me. And then all the words he read, he gets to practice writing. And then there's a little game at the end. And he loves it. And again, wasn't expensive, super cheap, super fun. He loves it. Now, like I said, we talk about what they are interested in, and he loves cooking. He loves it. So he got cookbooks for his birthday, and this one he just loves. It has a little science experiment in the front. So like, what is gluten? We got to do something with gluten and without. Then we learned how to make crepes and bread. We did things with eggs and cooking them. So it has a little science experiment and then recipes, and he loves it. So we're going with interest. Then I have a little 3-year-old who really learns by living, but she wants to be a part of things. So I have her she can trace letters with her fingers or use Play-Doh. She pops these, we count them, and then I go to the dollar store and I get them a workbook. If they do it right, great. If they just color it black, I don't care. It's fine. History is our group one. We usually do a lot of history and science together, depending on age. So I do Story of the World for history, and we do that as a group. And then we read a chapter, and then in the week we get these like videos and things that go with what we read. And then for science, for especially my three boys, this has been a wonderful thing where it is a super easy STEM activity. So we do it together, and then we go ahead and talk about why that happened. And what I love about it is it's right there. It's stuff I usually have around the house. I can grab it real quick, and we just work trying to do a science experiment about every other day for them, and it's just been a great resource. Everything. And also we use Easy Peasy Homeschooling. It's a website online that has free resources, and we use it. They have a social skills unit study that has free things to print, and it teaches about emotional resilience and getting along. And so we also tap into that and do that as a group as well. Another resource we use that is completely free is Khan Academy. My oldest expressed a desire to learn about animation. So I found on Khan Academy, they have Pixar in a Box, which has a whole course on how to do animation. So she gets to do that on the computer about every other day. Like I said, it doesn't have to be every day, but it piques her interest, and she gets to follow something she's really interested about. And one last thing I want to add. This has been gathered over 8 years of homeschooling. And really, you can homeschool with nothing. And I'll show you how you can. This has been gathered, like I said, over time. But like I try to use things so I can use it throughout all my children, because we have a budget we need to follow. We don't have endless amount of resources all the time. So with my Matthew C books, I've gathered these throughout the years as my kids have grown, and I copy the pages. So as you can see, they are not written in because I scan them and I print them so that I can use them through multiple kids. The other thing that I have utilized a lot is the library and my homeschool group. Every place in our nation has a homeschool group, and sometimes it's just a Google click away. And if you can go and Google it and find in your area, there are so many wonderful people willing to help you on your homeschool journey. There are so many people that helped me my first year when we really didn't have anything. And so I utilized the library, I utilized the dollar store, I utilized my homeschool group, and they would actually lend me stuff, and I could do classes together with them, and it really helped. So you don't need all these things to homeschool. There are so many resources online that are free with Easy Peasy Homeschool, Khan Academy, so many things. And sometimes it's just taking a little look and asking some people around.